Hello, Christina Giordano here, the founder of Sold, your go-to resource for soulful entrepreneurship. And my philosophy is this: people can no longer be sold to, they must be sold to. However, in order to fully sell with soul, you need to be sold, that's SOUL', on you first. Now, just as a reminder, this video is simply a preview of what's in store in the podcast. And the podcast, which is called Sold with Christina Giordano, can be found on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Now, the title for this week's episode is Embodying the Shift from Control to Coherence. Integrity is what scales. And the reason why I'm sharing this now is because lately I have been moving through shifts that have fully landed, which is why I'm calling it embodying coherence instead of control, because a lot of the shifts that I have made recently have been rooted in control. And I kind of want to walk through them with you, and then you can listen to more details in the full episode. So the reason why this is so relevant at the moment, again, is because many of this is starting to land, but because I'm actually experiencing what it means to be in integrity, what it means to live in full integrity with who you are. Now, just as a mutual understanding, integrity to me is radical honesty with who you are and what you want and how you choose to move, and letting that truth, which is your truth, be what leads your life. And when this realization that I wasn't living in integrity prior to this knowledge came to life, my entire world collapsed. And if you've been following along for a while, you know what that looked like. It affected my marriage, it affected my business, it affected my finances. Everything completely collapsed. And out of that collapse, in that rock bottom, that is where I finally found myself. I found my value in rock bottom. And truthfully, if I'm going to be honest, I found my glory in it. And so this episode, it'll hit to those of you out there who feel as though you're moving through something that feels like a perpetual collapse, because that's essentially what the great shed is. When we're shedding everything that isn't who we are, it feels like a perpetual collapse. It kind of feels like you're dying in a lot of ways. But what's happening is you're uncovering the truth about you. You're getting closer to your essence, to your truth, to your light. And also, if you know me by now, you know that I believe that your essence is your highest frequency. It's your energetic signature. It's your universal signal. And everything is energy. Everything speaks in energy, and everything moves in energy. And because everything is energy, that frequency is what moves us through life, but it's also what life mirrors back to us. So what we see in our reality is more often than not a result of what we're seeing in our internal realities. So I want to go through one by one the shifts that I've embodied as a result of this work on myself. And just as a side note, if this is resonating with you, if you are interested in doing this type of work where you are not only building businesses, but building a life that is rooted in integrity, that is rooted in your essence, this is the work that we do within Sold. And you can find more information about that at ChristinaGiordano.com on my Get Guidance page. I offer a variety of offerings that range in price points based on accessibility to me, but everything that I offer is full methodologies. I don't hide anything. I don't gatekeep. It's all there for you. So go check it out. Again, ChristinaGiordano.com. All right, so here are the shifts that I'm going to run through, and then you can listen to the full details on the episode. So number one, I no longer follow a routine, but a rhythm. Routine for me was a mask for control, and I used to follow such a strict routine that I would consistently and constantly burn myself out. So this would look like working out when I was sick or injured, or eating the same thing every day, even when my body needed more, or having a clear calendar and filling it up with random and arbitrary tasks just to feel productive. So my routine was truly, at one point in my life, my lifeblood, but it was really restrictive. And my body kept showing me over and over again that it was no longer going to cooperate with routine anymore. So I started to move into rhythms. And rhythm is essentially the opportunity for grace. It allows you to show up to what you're devoted to, but the degree that you show up is highly dependent on your body, your energy, and the season of life that you're in. So, to put it plainly, when I decided to move from routine to rhythms, grace had finally entered my life, and that allowed for more rest, more creativity, and eventually sustainability. Number 2, I no longer try to control my body. I trust and honor it. I'll be honest, I put my body through hell for most of my life. And I am my body, but if I were to really look at that and judge it, I would think, oh my God, like I hate my body, because that's basically how I treated it. And so when I started to really trust my body and honor it and show up for it in a way that was respectful, things started to change. A body that is respected stops resisting. Number 3, I no longer move because of discipline. I move because of devotion. Now, this one is probably my favorite one that I talk about on the podcast, but most people think of discipline as simply willpower. But what I've seen is that more often than not, people don't need more willpower. They just need to stop overriding themselves. And that's basically what willpower is. It's the ability to override yourself. I personally have a lot of it. I can perform through burnout, and I did. But I realized that I don't want to live like that anymore. It's no longer aligned with me anymore. It was no longer aligned with my body and my truth anymore. So devotion became my new discipline. And while devotion may sound very soft and feminine, it's actually a power move. And what it is, it's a consistent allegiance to what's true. And when you're living as someone, myself, when you're living with truth as your North Star, you don't need willpower. You don't need motivation. You just simply know how to move, because your essence is what leads the way. Number 4, I no longer see things in black and white, but a spectrum. What I've realized when you're doing the work on yourself and you're looking at everyone kind of as a mirror, what you're starting to see is that my perception of another person is not based on them. It's entirely based on my own range of perception. So if I'm deciding that people are good or bad or right or wrong, that is essentially a very fixed perception of life. It doesn't allow for nuance. It doesn't allow for flexibility. It doesn't allow for grace. When I decided to remove absolutes and certainty and judgment in general, that range didn't make me passive. It made me stable. It made me a soft and safe landing for myself, but also for every life that I touch. Number 5, I no longer assume I need to maintain an apex frequency in order to be magnetic. This is my biggest problem with the manifestation matrix, and I've talked about this several times before, and it's that you need to be high vibe in order to be magnetic. Life doesn't respond to your mood. It responds to who you are. And to be truly magnetic is to understand that life isn't essentially mirroring how high you hold yourself up. It's mirroring you as whole. So it doesn't matter how high you can hold yourself up or how positive you are at any time. What matters is your intention. What matters is your integrity. What matters is you living in your truth. So again, life mirrors what you are constantly and consistently emitting. And it is you, just you, not you in a positive mood. It's mirroring just you. So this is what essentially Coherence has given me, the ability to stay safe within myself, no matter what is happening around me, no matter what is collapsing around me. My internal world is internally consistent. My internal world is eternally safe and coherent. And that alone has allowed me to not only create all of these shifts in my life, it allowed me to root them in so that I could truly become the version of me, the most authentic version of me that allows me to also be the truest version of me, the greatest version of me, so that I can make the impact that I want to make without abandoning myself. If this is resonating with you, head to the full episode. It's available on my podcast, which again is available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. It's Sold, SOUL', with Christina Giordano, and I hope to see you there. Until next time, be well and take care.